What's up, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of Tequila Talks, your friend Tequila Bay. And today we are featuring our second official guest to the channel, my friend Fuad. Fuad, go ahead and introduce yourself.
Yeah, thank you, Luis. It's good to be here. Luis and I go way back to our college days. We both stuck around the Akron area. We met in engineering school, and Luis being a local business owner as well here in Akron. So good to be on here, man.
Yeah, man, yeah, and we met in college, both engineering track. I went into the hospitality and restaurant side, and now Fuad does real estate. So we wanted to just sit down, have a good conversation over some good tequila, and then, Fuad's more of a novice drinker, so getting some insight and some of his questions out to the channel for those of you that are, again, might be new to tequila or some, very beginner knowledge, which I think as you drink a little bit more, Fuad, you're picking up on the right things. So
yeah, I think so.
Tell me about your experiences so far with tequila.
The more I feel that I drink tequila, and with a little help and questions that we're going to discuss today, the more I'm able to kind of pick up on the notes that you're able to do so well. So it's I'm really developing an appreciation for it, and glad to be on.
Perfect. So you were drinking Patron last night. Is that what you said?
Yeah, I was drinking some Patron last night, so just sipping that on the rocks.
Perfect.
So it's I guess that's my go-to drink.
Yeah, and previously we had a conversation where you were, asking me like, Luis, like, how do you get so good at like being able to taste all these different nuances? And at the core of it, most of your tequila is like there's a core of things that you should look for, right? A blanco tequila or certain barrel-aged stuff, it can get a little bit complex, but more than anything, it's just practice. So being able to drink, being able to practice, and like I told you, the most important thing is the nosing. So being able to smell, and 82% of what you taste comes from what you smell. So being able to smell and pick up the right components and nuances gives you that right flavor profile. So go ahead and, I'm not gonna talk this Tequila Talks without a nice glass of tequila. So go ahead and pick something out. We got a few different blancos that we're gonna be featuring and talking about.
Let's see here. Well, how about we try? Do you want to go with the G4?
Let's do the G4, man.
Let's do it.
I know you were looking at the Siete Leguas earlier, but
I was. Look at this bottle, though. It's beautiful.
Yeah, the Siete Leguas. Fuad was like, hey, does this mean 7 horses? And then I got into talking to him about the whole folklore behind the Siete Leguas brand. And that's just a unique thing about tequila, is a lot of these distilleries and tequila brands showcase Mexican culture, Mexican folklore, different stories. So Siete Leguas is Pancho Villa's horse, the fabled horse that could travel 7 leagues from town to town, and that's why they were able to win the Revolutionary War. So, salud.
Salud. Cheers.
So for starters, Fuad, you were talking to me about your experiences with tequila overseas. You were overseas for a few months, or I don't know how long you were out there, but you're telling me about your tequila experiences in Lebanon and how you were able to either find certain tequilas or, what you were tasting out there.
Yeah, so I don't know if it depends on where we went. I'm sure it probably does, but just the selection of tequilas over there weren't obviously not as extensive as your collection, but you find sort of the pricing a little bit surprising as opposed to here. I don't know if that has to do with import costs or just people don't know what certain tequilas are worth, but you find, for example, Patron, which is over there considered very high end, it's a pretty expensive thing to order. Let's say if you go to just a normal average bar or club, So, but yeah, I mean, that's why I started, knowing that I was gonna come on, I wanted to kind of, if I'm gonna go out drinking with friends, I wanted to pick that so I can kind of start, doing some homework, if you will, before coming on here.
Yeah, because not only are we gonna do this introductory video and just talk more of an open conversation about tequila, but we're also gonna be doing a blind tasting on our next episode. So I wanted you to kind of get some practice and get a little bit more familiarized. But so you're telling me overseas, not a lot of product, and the product that they did have was pretty expensive. So we can probably attribute that to the exportation costs and trying to get tequila from Mexico all the way across the Atlantic. But then also like different distilleries and different exporters or distributors only work with certain products in certain regions of the world. So,
and you have these big distributors there too, but also I think there's always been, I think it's like very fatty. So it started like the vodka fad, then you went to the gin fad.
Yes.
It's just about time we're gonna come maybe to tequilas and kind of have these little these craft distilleries kind of have their stuff over there overseas or even over here. So no, but really excited about the selection you have for us today. So I know you mentioned before that they were so no additives are included in these. Is that correct?
So yeah, a lot of these tequilas that we're showcasing here, and that's kind of like the main conversation with the tequila junkies in 2022. I'm sure all of 2023 we're going to be talking about additive-free tequilas and what that means. But also, we'll segue into this conversation about the sustainability side and kind of how there's the growth. You mentioned the growth of tequila, how it's becoming a fad or a trend. So for beginners, we have over here Código, which is additive free, confirmed by Tequila Matchmaker. So I use this tool called Tequila Matchmaker, as most people that are into the tequila game, they do. It's a database of information that gives you insight on distilleries, insight on product, how they're processing tequilas and where they're coming from. So
where can you find this? Is it just a website?
Yeah, it's a website and then it's an app. You can actually download the app on your phone. And yeah, you're able to look at the different distilleries, the different products. And Tequila Matchmaker, they've built kind of a panel of people that work in conjunction with the distilleries to confirm additive-free products and to develop those that information database so that I can talk about stuff and share it with people that might not want to do the research or don't have the confidence or expertise to get out there and do the research. So we're doing the research for you, and that's what makes me excited to talk about tequila. So Código, confirmed additive-free, El Tesoro as well. Jose Cuervo Reserva, which is their family reserve line. It's not confirmed additive free, but it is a very good quality blanco. We have Volcán de mi Tierra as well, additive free. Siete Leguas, additive free. Tequila Ocho, additive free. And then G4, now I'm getting confused on G4. I'm pretty sure it's additive free, but I'd have to double back on that. It actually doesn't mention anything on the label. So the Consejo Regulador de Tequila, and this is kind of why the conversation's a little bit polarizing, in the sense that additives are actually legally allowed to be used in tequila product.
To a certain extent.
To a certain extent. So 1% volume of tequila can legally have an abocante or a mellowing agent, which in English we use the word additive. Sounds a little bit more invasive in English than in Spanish. So if you have 1,000 liters of tequila, you're only gonna have, we struggled on the math earlier, 10 liters of additive. Now, sometimes these additives might be heavily concentrated to where you have stronger flavor profiles of vanilla or oaks or colorings, but at the essence of it, like a blanco, it really is not gonna have that heavy influence of a vanilla or an oak that a reposado might want to have. So the conversation of additives is important, but at the end of the day, when you look at it, it's not really as intrusive when you're looking at a volume of tequila that's very large.
Do you think it plays into the marketing a little bit?
It definitely.
It's a good marketing aspect, like, hey, you can say, well, this is additive free.
Exactly. So, and that's why. So it's a conversation on transparency. Distilleries aren't forced to disclose whether they're using additives or not, but now a lot of tequila distilleries are working in conjunction with Tequila Matchmaker and their panel to be able to be confirmed additive-free as a marketing tactic and as kind of the niche product drives that demographic of drinker that wants to drink the additive-free tequila. Segueing into the conversation where the additives have been used due to the fact that tequila is becoming so popularized and there's not enough production there's not enough plant to produce the demand of tequila that we have today. So in terms of sustainability, I think that's gonna be a very important conversation in 2023. I saw 2022 kind of be focused around this additive-free tequila, but why are we using additives? And I think that's gonna be the next conversation that we're gonna start seeing, to where due to the fact that we have so much demand, a lot of the distilleries are either having to harvest some of the agaves a little bit younger, so the sugars aren't developed and ready to sustain a proper fermentation. And then as well, I was reading an article a few days ago about how consumers want this consistent, pristine product, when in all reality, you're working with raw material, and it should have a difference, and it should vary from batch to batch. So a lot of the producers are using additives because the consumer wants consistency. They want to taste the tequila, and they want to make sure that it tastes the same every single time. So the additive kind of gives that consistency factor. So
good to know. But let's talk about this. You know, I do smell a hint of the pepper that you kind of brought to my attention
yeah. We were
before.
talking about some basic notes and components of tequila, right? So for me, blancos, we're featuring blancos today, so that we're able to get the most like raw expression of tequila and agave. So typically at the core of it, you're gonna notice some cooked and raw agave, some pepper notes, some citrus. So I think we were doing some nosings earlier. We were trying to get warmed up for this shoot. So I don't know if you were nervous or if I was nervous, but we wanted to be a little bit ready. We were going over some of the components that you typically should smell and taste. Some of that vegetal, kind of herbaceous, that's your raw agave. Some of your warmer, like sweeter notes, that's your cooked agave. This G4 has a nice like pepper component. So as you pick those up and as you nose it, now when you taste it, you're able to pick up kind of that spice,
Yeah,
that pepperiness.
it's very forward. Don't you think?
Pepper forward, and then
Yeah.
as it sits on your tongue,
Citrus a little bit.
the citrus kicks in and those agave notes. So
You know what's funny is I never used to pick those up, but the more you kind of take your time, you know, like you said, you use your nose, sip it, you know, you don't just go out and chug it or anything.
Yeah, put it back. Yeah, a lot of people, they'll drink tequila, they'll plug their nose, and they think it's gonna like, well, in a way, it actually does help you not taste it, but
why would you not want to taste it?
that's the point.
That's the whole point.
You know, that's the point that we're trying to emphasize. And I think, you know, it's an acquired taste. So a lot of times when I do, we were talking about our tequila dinners that we host. So I do private dinners where we curate and build tequila pairings with traditional Mexican food. And a lot of times I've had the conversation to where people get this kind of weird feeling. They don't know why tequila has this like weird kind of odd taste, but I'm like, that's what agave tastes like. Kind of that herbal, herbaceous flavor that you're not really accustomed to. Like once you start opening up your mind to what an agave should taste like, it starts tasting very delicious. So tell me about your experiences so far with, you were drinking Don Julio, you were drinking Patron. Now that we're kind of breaking the ice and getting a little bit more information, what do you think about those tequilas?
You know, I like those types of tequilas. Once you know, again, when you're going out to a place and you see those there, those are the two that I go for typically.
Okay.
You know, I know Patron has a good reputation, tends not to give me a headache the next day, and Don Julio's the same way. So just kind of like brand recognition is the main reason, I think, number one. Number two, just, you know, you have a product that you can sip on that has good notes, and at the same time you can sort of enjoy and you don't have the repercussions of, let's say, something else. So for example, I don't know if I told you this, but if I go and I do like a Tito's, you know, vodka and this and that, I just have a terrible headache the next day. It doesn't matter what the quantity is that I drink. You know, I just have a terrible headache. And I was truly trying to find something that did not give me this headache, and tequila is one of them.
Yes, no, and I always make this noted that tequila is the only plant-based spirit. It's actually like raw vegetal distillation. You know, it's not grain-based. It's not, you know, what bourbon is. They use grains. What else do they use?
Wheat,
rye.
You know.
Vodka uses like starches and potatoes.
You can use potato. You can use also wheat. Basically, any carb type of product.
Any carb that breaks down into sugar. But tequila has a plant-based sugar. So that's where a lot of those cleaner properties come from, and especially from a Blue Weber plant that's either organic or that's sustainably farmed. But yeah, I think with Don Julio and Patron, I have high regard for those brands. Obviously, my restaurant is called El Patron. So Don Julio and Patron are brands that I really enjoy. They're more the mainstream brands that are highly marketed and highly recognized here in the United States and even overseas. But when it comes to their process, especially Patron, Tequila Patron was actually they were helped launch by Tequila Siete Leguas. So their process in Siete Leguas is a very ancestral, kind of rustic method of tequila production that was introduced to the production of Tequila Patron with a much more modern industrial process to be able to do high volume rather than small batching. So there's a misconception with Patron as it's just marketing, it's expensive because there's marketing dollars, but when you actually analyze the distillery, they only make one Patron, they only make one tequila at the distillery, which is Patron. There are distilleries that either make private labels or they have different batches of tequilas. So
they only make their own, they don't make anybody else's.
So Volcan as well is one of those distilleries that one of the products that is only made at one distillery and that's it. Siete Leguas as well. So that's always also something to look for in the product, and that's why I do enjoy Patron when it comes to more of those mainstream products. Their process is very controlled, it's very strict, and you're gonna get that quality time and time again.
I agree, and it's available right now because they've done a good job at, keeping it at all these establishments that you can find all across the country. So, but you spoke a little bit about volume and production when it comes to these distilleries. Would you say all the tequilas on the table are small batch?
So out of all of these that we have Siete Leguas, which is small batch, Tequila Ocho, and Tesoro, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay, so 3 out of the
and again, some of the tequilas that are either using Tahona wheel or some of the more rustic ancestral methods of production, they'll focus to that more small batch execution to create some of the unique characteristics that are found in the tequila. So with Patron, they've really capitalized on that volume production. So they're out there. They're a very well-known, reputable brand. But like anything, half the people are gonna cheer, half the people are gonna try to talk crap and spit on it. So Patron for me is a quality tequila. I highly enjoy it. But it's unique to see that overseas that really was just Patron and Don Julio.
Well, that was the typical ones that were there. I mean, you do get some 1800s, some Jose Cuero, but out of those 4, I think I would go with Patron and then Don Julio second.
I like to put Don Julio in my margaritas.
Yeah.
I think it just has a nice smooth and peppery component, mixes well in a drink. But yeah, even in the market here in the United States, now we're starting to see, actually the United States is the biggest consumer of tequila worldwide. More than Mexico. It's kind of ironic, but yeah, the United States market has really taken off. Now we're finally seeing all the more small batch or kind of niche distilleries and brands that are hitting the shelves. Now in California or in Texas or in New York, bigger states, they've had these products for a long time. Here in Northeast Ohio and the Midwest, it takes a little bit longer to get access to some of these tequilas. So a lot of these newer products that I've been able to add to my collection, while I was traveling or out and about, I was able to get the experience of drinking and recognizing these products, but it took me time to finally get them into my bar, and then eventually now we're doing tequila talks showcasing these higher quality tequilas. So
no, I mean, it all starts with the perception, and consumers are going to drive that demand to bring that over here.
Yep.
So usually tequila is known, let's go and let's get some shots, or even when everybody's drinking wine at a party and I'm the only one sipping tequila on the rocks.
Yeah.
They ask you, what are you drinking? Oh, tequila. Oh, you're getting after it. You're trying to party.
Yeah.
Well, not really. It's just something that I enjoy.
Yeah.
And it needs to, I guess, become that sort of drink, like a well appreciated Scotch or a bourbon. You know? And I think with time it'll get there.
And that's kind of our mission statement in the sense of El Patron Tequileria. For me, being able to develop tequila culture, tequila education, working on tequila talks, and just bringing people, whether it's expert advice or novice advice, is just being able to just have the conversation. And it's really unique to see in a market like downtown Akron, to where you know, the influence of LeBron. You know, he has Lobos Tequila. So everybody here in Akron, you know, already is kind of aware of tequila. They want to be drinking these higher end products. But when they come into my bar and they see the Clase Azul, and everybody like is in awe of the Clase Azul, which for me is a great product. It doesn't taste like tequila because it has the abocante, the additive influence, and different processes. But yeah, they see the Clase Azul or they see the celebrity brands, and they're like, Luis, what's your favorite tequila? And I point at like Siete Leguas, which sits like at the first level of my bar. They're like, why are you not picking from the top?
Right.
And I'm like, look, you don't have to break the bank to get a really high quality product. So
Price doesn't correlate to,
no,
you know,
price does not correlate.
taste or.
You just really have to do the research to understand the actual production method, understand where your agaves are coming from, understand the kind of the mission statement of the Maestro Tequilero or the distillery, and then just recognize like the actual value of what a good tequila should taste. But I'm kind of one of the people that champions that kind of that open-mindedness with tequila talks. Like, we don't want to bash on any particular brand. We don't want to, you know, put down certain products, because at the end of the day, those celebrity products or the kind of the boom of tequila is what has us talking about tequila today.
Right.
So those products are what has driven some of the popularity, but now we're able to actually educate all the newer and interested people. So
Right.
that's here in downtown Akron. Yeah, people come in and they want to, you know, flex and order their Clase Azul or the stuff that they see on social media, and then I'm showing them a bottle that they've never seen, but now they're like,
They're open to it.
they're open to it. They're trying, and they're like, wait, wow, like this is actually legitimate stuff. So
Right, and then they'll remember that and take that with them and then ask about it if they go somewhere else.
So yeah, and then that helps me also, like now with my distributing partners or with you know, Ohio Liquor that I work with, you know, as they're selling more tequila products and newer products, now they have a reason to bring in more.
Right.
So that actually helps me to showcase the rare brands, and rather than, you know, the liquor stores only moving certain products. Like now that's why I have access to hundreds of tequilas here in Northeast Ohio.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I'm very excited about it, man. You had mentioned you like to travel, you like to drink. Fuad said I have the most extensive tequila collection.
Yes, and in Ohio, I believe Luis has the widest variety of different tequilas in Ohio. And I have not seen anybody even close to a second. So,
Thank you.
yeah.
So yeah, cheers to that,
Salud.
man. So yeah, if you are, I have to get my drink in first. If you are in the Midwest, if you are in Northeast Ohio, if you're local, or even if you're far, I've actually had people that have met me from TikTok. I've had people from New York and some people, I think from Texas, like they have driven out. They have made a trip to come here to downtown Akron. So even if you're far away and you really resonate with our channel, you resonate with what we're talking about, and you appreciate Mexican culture, tequila culture, come out, come check my collection out. Like Fuad said, I have the most extensive tequila collection in all of Ohio.
Reasonably priced, you can try a variety of different things like this. I mean, I don't think I've ever seen a bottle of G4 anywhere, for example.
No,
You know?
G4 is, yeah, it's one of those newer, more niche products.
And just to come to a place like this in downtown Akron and be able to have the opportunity to appreciate whether it's this bottle or anything else is,
Yes.
really a privilege.
Thank you.
So,
Thank you for
yeah.
that. And yeah, then now we take those experiences and now we're developing, curated dinners, pairing dinners, special menus, and that's really what gets me excited to continue to showcase all these different tequilas and showcase all the different experiences that come with it. So, any other questions, man, before we get to, we're gonna battle it out. We're gonna do a head-to-head blind tasting. Any other questions before we get into that?
No, I'm looking forward to it, and thanks for having me, Luis.
Yeah, man, no, thank you.
I appreciate it. Salud again.
I'm out of tequila. I got a little
I
drop
gotta
here.
finish this.
But yeah, man, I appreciate you hopping on the channel, getting out of your comfort zone, and brought a lot of great questions and knowledge and conversation points.
Yeah.
So thank you guys for watching this evening. Go ahead and if you haven't subscribed to the channel, go ahead and give it a subscribe. Like this video, leave me a comment. Let's talk about what your favorite tequila is, or what you don't like about what I'm showcasing here, or what you do like. And for our next episode, we're gonna be doing our blind tasting. So a novice drinker versus an expert drinker. We'll see how we fare out. We've gone over the right stuff, so I've given you some clues and I've given you some important information to kind of prep you in, but yeah, it's gonna be a cool experience, and that way you guys as viewers will legitimately see if I know what I'm talking about or if I'm just all fluff and bluff. But yeah, our camera friend, our good friend, we're actually all a triage of friends from college. So Alex is gonna set the stage for us next episode. He's gonna choose our tequilas and we're gonna put it to the test. So thank you guys again for watching. Your friend Tequila Bay, Fuad, thank you very much, man.
Thank you.
Salud.
Visit El Patron.
Yes, sir.